Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have part 4 in a case with a couple, where Dad has agreed to supervised visitation due to his admitted anger management problems and bad judgment. But now he's returning to court in an attempt to expand his visitation to unsupervised weekends. Dad says things are going great. He says he's completed all the requirements of the court and he's been following all the rules that he and Mom have agreed on. He says he's ready for unsupervised time. But Mom says things aren't going as great as Dad claims. She says he's left his older children alone at home during the night so he could go to work, that he's been driving them around without seatbelts and taking the children on questionable work-related errands, and that he's hired a woman to babysit his children who's only 20 and has lost custody of her own children. Does the judge think it's time to expand Dad's visitation to unsupervised weekends? Let's find out. Don't miss the rest of the videos in this case if you haven't seen them yet. I'll link all 3 of them for you in the description box below.
All right, our last case for today is Duffy versus Duffy.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you so much for accommodating my request to hear this afternoon. I appreciate it.
I didn't have anything else to do, so I figured I'd just hang around. All right, I have on our docket that it's a review, plus it's also the motion that the husband has filed to require the wife to make the marital home accessible for appraisal and a walkthrough by the husband.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. And as the court is aware, we've been here for several review hearings in this case. The last time we were here, Your Honor did lift the supervision on my client's visitation. So he's been having the children for 9 hours every Sunday, unsupervised. And the last order that we had, which set this matter for a review, did say that the court hopes and anticipates that it would be appropriate to move forward with unsupervised overnight time at this hearing, and it laid out some things for my client to do in the interim. The court's orders specifically were for my client to clean up the yard in the home, make sure there were no boxes stacked up, get the pest control service in. There was some concern about some brown recluse spiders, and also for Ms. Duffy and the GAL to have an opportunity to do a walkthrough of the home to address any other concerns. My client's taken care of everything. The pest control has been filed with the court, the notice confirming that that was done. Ms. Duffy and the guardian ad litem, Ms. Furlong and Kim Wright, the paralegal in my office, all went out to Mr. Duffy's home about a week and a half ago. Ms. Furlong Smith did file her guardian ad litem report. I don't know if the court has, if you have it in front of you, but it did, acknowledge that the issues that were part of the court's order were addressed. And then Ms. Duffy had an opportunity to point out any other concerns that she had. And those are listed in the guardian ad litem report. There were 4 concerns. One was there were some cans stacked up on a shelf that had some gasoline, I think, in the yard or in the carport. He's moved those. The other concern was about a baby gate that had a wheel that could be adjusted, some weather stripping on the front door. And then the 4th one was that he had set up a room for the children and there was toddler bed, and apparently the child has graduated, it was set up as a crib, and the child has graduated to a toddler bed. So he did go ahead, and it was the bed that he had was convertible. So he went ahead and did that. I actually do have, I've already shared it with opposing counsel and with the guardian ad litem, but if the court would like to see, I do have the photographs of him addressing those 4 issues.
I don't think that's necessary. If you can introduce whatever you want. The reason that I wanted to allow the guardian ad litem and the mother to visit the property was because of these concerns that had been expressed about the conditions that were there. And the easiest way to alleviate those concerns was to allow them to go and see. And if Mr. Duffy was wanting to try to move this case along and get this visitation to a more normal type situation, then he would make those changes. What I'm hearing is that that's exactly what he's done.
I think he's done a great job, Your Honor. He's really tried to comply with everything the court has asked of him.
I would be surprised if you didn't think he's done a great job since he's your client.
Well,
but that also depends on what the other side has to say, I suppose. But I know that he has done everything. From what I'm hearing, he's done what I've asked him to do. So what are you today asking me to do?
We would really like to have weekends with the children. Now, it's a little bit of a difficult situation, I understand, because of his work schedule. So he does
He's
work on
still driving
Saturdays.
at night.
No, it's not that, although I think he does do that when he doesn't have any of the children with him. But he works for Costco, that's his primary job. And so he does work on Saturdays. That's a condition of his employment. He has his older 3 children 3 weekends out of 4 for the month. And I believe is it the 3rd weekend, Daryl, that you don't have them? The last full weekend. So the last full weekend of every calendar month, his older children are with their mom. Ideally, we would love to be able to have the younger children on the first 3 weekends of the month, and have them from Friday to Sunday. However, we do acknowledge that if he had them from Friday to Sunday, they will have to be left with his Aunt Connie, who the court has met. She was previously the supervisor, and the older children while he's working on Saturday. So alternatively, he could have them from Saturday after work until Sunday evening or Monday morning. Monday morning would be a little bit more complicated with making sure that they're exchanged before work.
What time does he get off work Saturday?
5:30. He works very close to his home, about a 10-minute ride.
Okay.
So I think ideally he would like to have, and correct me if I'm wrong, to be able to have that Saturday from 6 p.m. until either Sunday night or Monday morning on those first 3 weekends of the month. Do I have that right, Daryl? Yeah. Oh, I apologize. I misspoke because I was thinking he only has like that 10-minute commute, but they're actually still doing an exchange at the police station in Dixon. So it would, either if they're going to be meeting at that exchange point, he may need a little bit more time to get there, or if mom is willing to bring them to him and then he returned them to mom, we might have some more flexibility on that. I think we're open to doing it either way.
Okay.
But we really do want to maximize the time that they spend not only with him, but also with those older siblings. The kids are all really close.
All right.
And just briefly, the motion was just a very simple motion to be able to have access to the marital home to let our certified appraiser do an appraisal. And so he can do a walkthrough and inventory. We're hoping that at this point, now that we've gotten so far with these preliminary parenting issues, I think opposing counsel will agree that we'd probably like to go ahead and complete discovery and try to get this on track for a mediation. So that would be kind of an important piece for us to have that information as well. Oh, I did want to point out one other thing to the court. One of the items in the order the court had recommended, but not ordered, that my client look into a sleep study. He did go to the sleep clinic at St. Thomas, and they told him right now they don't, based on their preliminary evaluation, they didn't want to order a sleep study at this time, but they did tell him to go ahead and keep a journal of how he sleeps and then book a follow-up appointment in a month or so. And based on what that sleep journal shows, they may or may not recommend a sleep study at that time. And if they do, and if it's covered by his insurance, he's happy to do it.
Ms. Duke?
Judge, I'll address the issues of visitation first. Mr. Duffy's still driving that limo, and it's disingenuous for counsel to stay up here and say that he's not doing it when the other children are with him. Immediately following our court date, when Your Honor admonished him regarding the babysitters he was hiring, he posted on the Babysitters Club of Nashville stating, "I am looking to fill 2 different summer positions for childcare. First shift Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., which at first glance, that's during regular work hours, that's fine. And then he says the other shift is on an as-needed basis, would consist of late nights. Typical time frame would be 9 p.m. to 3 a.m., and the kids would be asleep. So I give him credit for seeking a babysitter, but I don't give him credit for seeking it on a public forum that is not reliable. I mean, he had someone that he met in a parenting class doing it the last time. The kids are routinely riding in the back of the limousine unrestrained with people they don't know. There's pictures that have been posted of that. He is keeping these limo hours, I believe, in direct contempt of the court order out of Wilson County that says he's not to drive the limo when he's got his other children. He doesn't care what this court says. He's going to do what Mr. Duffy wants to do. So that's the first issue of several. My client has still got concerns about the home of Mr. Duffy. Granted, he has absolutely cleaned it up. There are still a few items here and there, and she agrees that she can be a picky mom when it comes to safety of the minor children. But there's on the exact same shelf where he removed the gasoline, there's a chainsaw that can be pulled off on top of one of the children. And she wasn't given an opportunity to take issue with that because she couldn't see the chainsaw because the gas was in front of it. Now, she understands that she is being overly protective. But in these circumstances, I don't know that it's not called for based on everything we've been through in this case. Mr. Duffy wants to inspect the marital residence or inventory the marital residence. I would submit to the court that at the onset of this, the parties all agreed that Ms. Duffy would return every item that belonged to Mr. Duffy, including marital property that Mr. Duffy wanted. She took 8 carloads of items, inventoried items, to Mr. Duffy at the exchange. The only items left in the marital residence, for the most part, minus a few guns, all belong to Miss Duffy. So I think that
She owned it before marriage?
before marriage, there's probably a few marital items in there, but before marriage, this marriage is not of long duration. She has, and I will be happy to provide these to counsel, has taken pictures of the entire residence if he would like to look at it. She doesn't really want him in the home right now, and that's just her position. I understand the court may allow him in the home to do an inventory, but I would point out that.
Yeah, I did allow her to go into his home and
Yes,
inspect
yes.
it and do everything.
Yes.
So wouldn't it be fair to allow him to come in and make an inventory if it's done under appropriate circumstances?
I would generally say so, Your Honor, but he knows, when he says inventory, he knows he's gotten all of his items out. So I think that that's all of his items, including marital property, out. The parties had divided. She asked what he wanted. He told her what he wanted. She got those items out. It's a gig, but we'll do what the court obviously directs.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you're saying you'll do whatever I order.
Always, Judge, always. Right here, I'm happy to do it. One of the children returned home with a large bump on their back. We don't know how the child received the bump. And child said that she had complained to the father, but the father did not pay any attention to it. That was a concern. It's a pretty large bump. I've just gotten this picture today. It's from July the 13th.
Well, are we going to put on testimony about this situation?
I don't know that it is necessary, but I want the court to realize that there are still concerns. And we repeat ourselves. Mr. Duffy continues to do the exact same thing. This court admonished him for having some random stranger babysit the kids, and here we are right back here again, and he did it immediately after the court told him not to do that again. So those are our major concerns. I would ask that if Your Honor is inclined to grant some visitation schedule that's unsupervised overnight, that the court consider that if Mr. Duffy is not available for that visitation, that Ms. Duffy be given the right of first refusal.
Ms. Smith, may I hear from you, please?
Go to the house and take care of it. today, I do think that Mr. Duffy shouldn't drive the limo when the small children are there. If it's gonna be every other weekend, he cannot drive a limo on those weekends. That's the only thing I've heard today that's concerning. I don't know anything about the bump. I have had children. I know that happens. But anyway, that would be my recommendation, that he not be ordered to not drive the limo when the little kids were there. I know he has 3 older that are there. That's a different county, but in this situation, I do think that.
Ms. Marsh, you wish to address any of that?
To having an order state that he will not drive the limo with the younger children. The ex-wife and him had an agreement on that, separate and apart. It should probably be memorialized in a court order that she was okay with him
You might want to get
driving.
that fixed with a court order rather than risk being held in
Yeah,
contempt.
I agree. I agree with Your Honor, but we have absolutely no problems with that. In terms of the babysitter, he's understood this court's instructions. He has looked for babysitters online for his older children, but he fully intends to have background checks done to make sure that any babysitter that he uses is
Why does he need a
acceptable.
babysitter with these younger children?
he actually does not.
Why would he need a babysitter at all?
To be clear, Your Honor, he does not, and we would be happy to have it at the order that he's not to leave them with any other third party, except if there could be a carve-out just for Miss Connie Russell, and even at that, we would be, believe that was a part of the last order as well, and there was also a right of first refusal for mom, and we're happy to have those orders remain in effect. The babysitter that he was looking for was really for the older children because he has a 50-50 schedule with them over the summer. In terms of the bump on the child's back, things happen. My understanding is that the child was stung by a bee with mom. These things happen. In terms of the inventory, it is true that we had done an agreed order, but that was a preliminary order at the very beginning of this case just to get things that he needed out of the home. It was not supposed to address the final distribution of all marital property. That's
All
all.
right. Well, I want to give everybody an opportunity to be heard, even with the lateness of the hour. Does anybody have any proof, any testimony you want to offer on this issue? You what? All right. Right. Ms. Morris, make sure I'm understanding. You said that he has his older children on the last full weekend of each month?
He has them on every weekend,
But the last one.
I think I said
All right. Well, these kinds of cases are somewhat difficult for me. My interest is protecting the minor children. This case started a long time ago with an incident with a video at the bowling alley, and we've gone round and round with this. let me deal with the easiest part first. Yes, Mr. Duffy will be allowed to enter into the marital residence for the purpose of making an inventory. It is not for harassment. It is not for any purpose other than walking through. My suggestion would be you take a video camera or a photographic camera, and you just simply walk through and make photographs, and then don't have to talk to anybody, don't have to do anything. Mrs. Duffy has the right to be present. Both parties have the right to have a representative with them as a witness to make sure of that. I don't think there's any need for a civil standby, but if one of the other parties wants to have a civil standby with the law enforcement, then that's up to that person to obtain that before the visitation. Counsel for the parties will arrange the walkthrough. I allowed her to come into your home and to inspect it along with the guardian ad litem, and so as a result of that, I think quid pro quo, as they say, is to allow you to go into the home to make this, not for any reason other than make this inventory that you're talking about. It's been indicated that you've removed most of the things that are yours, but you've got to make a list of what you claim is still there that's marital property. So I'm going to allow it. But if it's abused, I'll deal with that. If you do something that you shouldn't be doing, then I will deal with that as well. As far as the visitation schedule, turn your microphone on there on the table. Your voice is a little soft.
I'm sorry about that. May we also have the right to send a certified appraiser to the home?
If was the home bought during the marriage?
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah, I mean, that's something that normally would be done, so I don't assume it wouldn't be done on the same day, but
No, I would have to be based on
I
the
think
appraiser's schedule. I can.
the court will authorize there to be an appraisal of the marital residence, and the parties can agree on an appraiser. I think Mr. Chris Chatham is a local realtor appraisal that does most of the appraisals here, at least. I don't care who you use. You can get anybody that does certified appraisal. All right, as far as the visitation, one of the things that we do is to, in a situation where there's some concern, Mr. Duffy, then that's why we have the supervised visitation. You've done everything that I can see that I've asked you to do, and as a result of that, I'm going to allow you to have overnight visitation, and it'll be from Saturday after work until Sunday at 6 o'clock, and that'll be on alternate weekends. Now, you take care of your children. You're the one who's responsible for them. You get them, you keep them with you. Don't use a babysitter, period, and that'll solve this problem about who you get. If you have to run to the store, then this lady that supervises your visitation can do that. But ideally, you've got everything set up. You just got, from Saturday to Sunday. So I would assume you can plan ahead. Did you say you work at Costco? Plan ahead, get what you need from Costco to have those children taken care of, and then you don't have to leave the house with them, except you and they leave to go and do something fun or whatever. I'm not concerned about the residents. I think that obviously if you've got a chainsaw, put that up out of the reach of any minor children. When grandchildren come to my house, my wife and I, we go through and try to childproof it, even though they're not that young, but we try to childproof it and make sure everything that could potentially cause a problem is out of reach. So you need to do the same thing, make sure that your equipment and tools is out of reach. I don't know that there's anything else that needs to be addressed in that other than this is all done in a temporary basis. If there is a problem, if there's some issue exists, then I can reduce this or take it away just as easily as I've given it to you. So I don't want to do that. I want to move this towards a final resolution with a normal type of situation between you and your children. I want you and your kids to have a good relationship. But that depends on you and how we do from here. So again, let's not have any corporal punishment. I think I may have already put that in the order, but I want to make sure that's reiterated. I'm not telling you how to parent, but you can time out them or do something else. And if you run into a problem, you ought to be able to pick up the phone and call your wife and say, hey, they're not behaving. I've tried this. It's not working. What do you suggest I do next? So that y'all can talk about it. All right, anything else besides what I've just ordered? Yeah, well, I mean, I think if he's got them for, Saturday evening, put him to bed, get a good night's sleep, spend the day with him on Sunday, just try to make sure you don't drink enough coffee or whatever you need to do to stay awake when the kids are with you. But yes, if there was an order for a sleep study or a report from St. Thomas, then let's get that done as well, so. All right. Ms. Morris, are you going to draw the order for me? There wasn't, I don't remember, I remember the issue and I remember suggesting it as a recommendation. I don't remember it being a specific order, but clearly in the discovery process, she has the right to see whatever the medical report was that he may have gotten, so. I'm sorry, they're what?
The children at the
Is your
police department.
microphone-
It was. They've been doing the exchange at the Dixon Police Department, so they can continue to do that, or can the order say that they may agree on something different, just whatever they agreed to? Continuing that?
All right,
Okay, so,
I hope you'll move away from that. I don't think children ought to have to be exchanged in the police department or the sheriff's department or whatever, but I understand that with the issues that have taken place, that's probably, for right now, that's probably the safest thing to do.
then he can just text her when he's leaving work with an ETA on that.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Morris, you'll draw the order for me, please?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
That will then conclude our business for today, so we stand adjourned.